Every president since Harry Truman has used televised speeches from the Oval Office to talk about the most important issues of the day. President Trump's first Oval Office speech last night addressed what he called a crisis of the heart and soul along the U.S. southern border. He argued that building a border wall is absolutely critical for security and humanitarian reasons. Mr. Trump criticized Democrats in Congress for refusing to spend billions on the project. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer responded, saying the president manufactured a border crisis. They accused him of holding the American people hostage in a partial government shutdown. Major Garrett is at the White House to untangle it all for us. Major, good morning.
Good morning. President Trump's first address from the Oval Office, in summary, said the following. The flow of undocumented immigrants, illegal drugs, and human trafficking at the southern border right now constitutes a national crisis. The primetime platform was new. The arguments very, very familiar, notably absent any new proposals from the president or any hint of concessions that might resolve the ongoing partial government shutdown.
This is a humanitarian crisis, a crisis of the heart and a crisis of the soul.
Looking to sway public opinion in the government shutdown battle, President Trump argued illegal immigration at the southern border hurts all Americans.
It strains public resources and drives down jobs and wages.
He also claimed it's an issue of criminality.
In the last 2 years, ICE officers made 266,000 arrests of aliens with criminal records.
Of the 266,000 arrests, most were for nonviolent offenses, including more than 80,000 traffic violations. The president also made an emotional appeal as he mentioned the families of victims killed by illegal immigrants.
I've held the hands of the weeping mothers and embraced the grief-stricken fathers.
Mr. Trump used the 9.5-minute address to further entrench his position in the shutdown battle. He wants $5.7 billion in wall funding and is refusing to back down from fulfilling a signature campaign promise.
This barrier is absolutely critical to border security.
The president argued the southern border is a pipeline for illegal drugs, including heroin. But it is unclear how a wall would address the problem. A 2018 report from the DEA says drug trafficking is concentrated at legal ports of entry, not remote stretches of the border.
Democrats in Congress have refused to acknowledge the crisis.
The speech included little effort at outreach. Mr. Trump blamed Democrats for the shutdown, which has affected 800,000 federal workers.
The federal government remains shut down for one reason, and one reason only, because Democrats will not fund border security.
A false claim, as Democrats voted last week for $1.3 billion in border security, including physical barriers and technology on the border, just not the wall funding Mr. Trump requested.
The president is rejecting these bipartisan bills which would reopen government.
In their rebuttal following the president, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said the debate over the wall should be separate so the government can reopen.
This president just used the backdrop of the Oval Office to manufacture a crisis, stoke fear, and divert attention from the turmoil in his administration.
Democrats haven't always been against funding a southern barrier. In 2006, Senator Schumer and other Democrats supported legislation for fencing on the border.
The symbol of America should be the Statue of Liberty, not a 30-foot wall.
President Trump has been publicly toying with the idea of declaring all of this a national emergency, which might give him the authority to siphon construction funds from the Pentagon budget to begin or accelerate construction of the border wall. In a bit of an anticlimax, Bianna, no mention of that in last night's primetime address.
Big question about what legal ramifications that would have had. Maybe that's why he didn't mention it. Major, thank you.